To start off, the Colosseum was not the first building to be featured where it was constructed. It is actually a pretty remarkable story that comes before the Colosseum. In 64 CE, there was a fire that destroyed much of the Aventine and Palatine hills. Following the fire, Emperor Nero wanted to build a massive palace where the fire had happened. However, the citizens already angered that he did not respond to the fire fast enough, or that he even started the fire himself, were very resistant. In the end, though, he seized the aristocratic land and even carved into the Oppian hillside for part of his palace. Turning to architect Severus and engineer Celer, Nero's palace, named the Domus Aurea, featured 140 rooms with ceilings up to 11 meters tall, along with 30-meter tall bronze statue of Nero as a sun god. Along with this, a circular banquet hall, which rotated day and night, used water pressure to drive it, and he also had rooms with waterfalls running down the walls. As you can see, while his palace was used for self-pleasure, it truly was an innovation that, if he used correctly, could have been monumentous for the empire. In the end, though, Nero would later commit suicide and his building would be taken apart and would later be the site of the Colosseum, which uses the colossal side of his statue as the name for the building. Moving on to his successor, Vespasian, instead of building a pleasure palace for himself, he wanted to shore up his image by building one for the people. The Colosseum was able to hold 50,000 people, making it the largest amphitheater in the Roman world. However, with its size came careful planning to ensure stability. First, being built near a lake, it had to have drains to dispel water. Second, the foundation used concrete ranging from 13 to 42 feet. In doing this, the ground level was raised almost 23 feet, allowing for people to look up and fascinate about its size and see how strong the Romans truly were. Along with this, the Colosseum incorporates symmetry similar to the Pantheon. The Colosseum was meant to be constructed in a 5:3 ratio. Also, the perimeter of the building was to be split up evenly among 80 entrance arches. So with each being 20 feet wide, with an extra 3 feet due to deviation in Roman measurements, the Colosseum was 80 times 23, equaling 1,840 feet, and the arena was adjusted to 280 by 168, which is still the 5:3 ratio. Another interesting piece of mathematics was the width of the auditorium area, height of the external facade, and width of the arena area were equal. Overall, the Colosseum was carefully put together in the way the Romans thought were ideal. The building had 4 stories having superimposed arches with semicircular columns. On the first story there are Tuscan columns, the second had Ionic, and the third had Corinthian. The last one has pilasters with Corinthian capitals. The pilasters have windows that once held the masts for awnings to hang above. The Colosseum was dressed in bronze shields on top, along with statues of gods and emperors between the arches. In order for spectators to get to their seats, they followed arches labeled 1 through 76 to enter inside. There were 4 grand entrances not numbered for royalty and important people. Each floor had grand circular promenades decreasing in decoration as you went upward. Unlike the other floors, the first had marble flooring with stucco ceilings. As the other amphitheaters suggest, the seats had 40 centimeters of width with 70 centimeters of legroom, not the ideal amount of space nowadays. Each level was separated by entrances and staircases, along with marble and iron dividers. The top section even had a 5-meter high wall. Based upon status in society, one would sit in certain spots. Women and the poor would be at the very top, while the bottom 2 sections contained the high-class males of society. The seating arrangements were truly an innovation in how amphitheaters were set up and paved the way for future ones. As for the actual arena section, there were 15 centimeters of sand, sometimes dyed red to look like blood. There were trapdoors to allow animals to leap dramatically onto the floor, along with winches and capstans to pull the animals up onto the floor. Surprisingly, the first fight was a sea fight with 1 meter of water on the floor. This suggests that the basement for fighters and animals would be put in later.